tsa tikologo jaaka e le nna jana ke mongwe wa batho ba e leng gore ke na le kitso e tseneletseng mo go tsa tikologo e bang yona environment mme gape ke lebile gore di-agency tse go buiwang ka tsona tse bogolosegolo e nne tsa bantsho mme di neelwe 20% ka ntlha gore le ha e le yona 10% eo ruri le nna ke le jana ke bona e kete ga ena tlhaloganyo fa re tla mo dilong tsa kgwebo mme re kopa gape gore le ba lekgotla la ditshwanelo tsa botho le bona ba nne le karolo go ka leka go ka thusa bantsho mo go nneng le karolo mo kganyeng e gape batho ba bomme bona ba neelwe di-percent di ka nna 40 mme le gore ntse ba thusana le di-agency tsa puso mme re etse tlhoko gape gore re na le kgwetlho e tona thata ya botlhokatiro bogolosegolo e le dialogane tse e leng gore batho ba tswa sekolong mme fitlhela e le gore ga ba dire re tlhokomele thata maemo a tikologo re tlhokometse gape le gore ikonomi le yona e tlile go tlhabololwa ka ntlha gore motsi o tshwanang le o fa o tlhaga o re tlela ka go tlhamiwa ga ditiro mme ke tšhono e leng gore re tshwanela ke gore re amogele ka diatla tsopedi mme fa e ka nna gore ka lebaka lengwe motho o neetswe tetla ya go ka batlisisa ka yona kgang e re buang ka yone ya dipetroleum a ba neelwa license mme fa go ka fitlhela e le gore ka tsela nngwe e kete ga tsamaisane le se go neng go buiwa ka yone go nne le kotlhao ka ntlha gore re lebile gore bili e moono wa yona ke ofe le gore phomokgolo ya bili e ke efe ke a leboga.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Taolo Mokhele from mining communities affected in action Makua Kilimani Kutlwano Machabeng, one of the mining communities in the Free State. Before I make my submission, ke swabile haholo anyway hore parlamente ya rona le invite setjhaba sa rona kwano hore se attende this consultation tsa di bill. The next thing, there is a poor coordination. You can invite the communities le re jwetse hore you will provide transport. The next thing, you don't provide transport. How are we supposed to attend to come here in Botshabelo ke hla Kutlwanong? We made the arrangements. I don't know who's Mr. Nomanda, wise man, Nomanda. We are here. We are still waiting for your response for the request. You are still resolving the issue. Ya accident. It can't be. We are here. While it's petahata, government will fail fellow petahata. Tepiso is simple. You have transport. The parliament. La swabisa kanete akibatu buamaka la swabisa. So Ariata bagantu etseng re leba ahi kapa re le mokgatlo wa Makua ho tswa mane Machabeng ka ntho e tsaetseng hore e be re tlisitse mona le re tshepisitse hore lona le tla re fa transport le feila ka dintho tse simple jwale ga ipotsa hore na ntho entse re bua tse re di submit, how are you going to implement them go ba le tlwaetse go thetsa? So in short, as Makua, our overall submission is that the bill should not proceed in its current form. If at all, the legislation governing petroleum resources must only be put in place to ensure a just transition from fossil fuels to clean renewable energy. Re a tseba this portfolio committee, you also sit in energy meetings and the like. Re kgathetse le ka taba ya load shedding. Lona le comfortable, le na le di generator, le na le di solar. Rona re na nix. So re a kopa he billion ke assist ka taba motlakase ba le phase la ka la bua la ge la nna la re le supporta billion batho bana government parliament le phase o hlokala fela re kopane 2024 next year. Thank you.
My name is Taulo Mukhele from Mining Affected Communities Association in Kutlwano, Machabeng. Firstly, I would like to express my disappointment about our parliament for inviting our communities with poor logistical arrangements. You fail to provide even the slightest of services, which is transport. How do you expect us to have arrived here when we don't have transport? I'm from Odendalsres. How was I supposed to come here? How will you implement this bill when you always lie to us? We are tired with load shedding. You are living comfortably with parliamentarians, with generators. You always have electricity. We therefore don't support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think there are things that we can't leave unattended. There are people here who are in the hall, and some of them used transport that was arranged by Parliament. So it's not right to say we failed to provide transport. Iriwena, you have an issue about transport, so that we attend to that issue. So that we attend to that issue. People, good people, we are not going to have that. We are not going to have that. Can I finish? Can I finish speaking? Can I finish speaking? Can I finish speaking? So what we will do, we are going to request that a person who has a problem with transport is attended to by people who are related to transport, so that we deal with that issue of transport and proceed with the meeting. We are going to proceed in that manner because we can't deal with a problem that we don't understand. If there's an incident, let's attend to it and we proceed. We are not defending ourselves that there has been a hiccup. We are going to deal with that now. And this remains Parliament. Ne? I want to tell you now, this remains Parliament in the precinct where we have requested that we are housed. The rules of Parliament will apply. I want to tell you now so that when other things happen to you, you understand that there are laws. Can we have the next speaker? Me, can you come?
Dumelang. Ya bua mona. Hai. Ya bua mona ke di eketseng kgabu go tswa Ward 30. Ke ema mona ke sa support bill. Lebaka la ka la ho se support bill ke lena. Ka dinako tsohle parliament ha e bua e re e tholela dintho tlase di provinceng bakeng sa batho ba disable. Ke ema mona ke le motho ya people living with disability. Ke disable. Hangata parliament ha e tloa e re itlisa dintho le bathong ba disable fela ha ho jwalo. Ha di fihla tlase mona provinceng rona ha re fumane monyetla. Ba bangata batho ba tshwanang le nna ba dutseng hae ba sena monyetla wa next. Dintho di fungwana ke batho ba itseng. Rona ha re di fumane. We don't know rona ana rona re batho or ha re batho na. Rona jwalo ka disabled people ha re fi monyetla next. Ha ke support because ha e tlo go tswela molemo rona people living with disability hona le batho ba kgolantse molemo ho tswa ho yona ke ema mona ke mosebeletsi wa Mangaung municipality as we speak ka hare ho Mangaung ha rena desk ya disability mo rona re lelang teng batho ba etsa whatever ka rona ha ona mo re lelang teng so ne ke batla ho jwetsa parliament ke re tlohellang ha le bua parliament le re le isa dintho le ho batho ba disability wera se re sa di fumane. I thank you.
The name is Dieketseng Khabu. I want to indicate that I do not support this bill because every time when Parliament comes to us or when they speak, they always say that they are bringing the services to the people, also taking into consideration especially the disabled people. But unfortunately, the opposite is true because that doesn't happen. In most cases, they just speak, they don't walk the talk as Parliament. For instance, now I am an employee in the Mangaung municipality where there is absolutely no desk for the disabled. So the disabled people are left destitute, nothing really that is concrete that is done on their behalf.
Thank you. Next.
Ke dumedise bomme le bontate. Ka lebitso ke Siphonkane from Ward 7 ko Mangaung. Ke setho sa ANC. Na bilie a ke support cause hantse ke bala ha ona mo re favorang teng re le batho ba go bodi class. Ha re batle se etsetseng jaka sefantini se tlo ipheta hape. This bill ha ke bala e tlo empowera batho ba nang le tšhelete especially ba tswang ka ntle. Wa bona ha o dula mo South Africa o reacha age ya 36 ho difficult to thola menyetla ya mesebetsi. So rona age group nyeo re itshepise di business, but now country ya rona ya re faila re le batho ba batsho or South Africans. 70% ya di businesses tsa rona South Africa di tshwere ke batho ba tswang ka ntle. No so ya depong ya tobacco mo Bloemfontein o go batla rekisa cigarette ba hana o reka ba ga ba bulele public. Mara ha o checka mo batho ba reka mo ke melate e tswang ka ntle. Rona reka mineral wo ho bona ka ba ka bill tse tshwanang le tsena. Ha o rekisa such mineral wena o thole profit ba yena o rekisa cheap yona yena o reka less mo wena o reka ho yena as South Africans. O bolela ka di license ha o apply for license ba o isa godimo le class. Mara those people ba tswang ka ntle bona ho easy for bona go ba kena, but rona South Africans is difficult for us, especially youth, let alone job creation. A ke ba ditshepisa job creation ka ba ka bill tshwana le tsena cause ke tsone tse re kwallang ka ntle. I would like to say down with capitalism, down matla socialism matla.
My name is Siphonkane from Ward 7 in Mangaung. I don't support the bill as it doesn't support poor people. We don't want what happened in Jagersfontein to happen to us. Most of our industries and businesses are owned by foreigners. As South Africans, we are told that we need to apply for licenses when you want to open a business, but when you do so, you are being taken from pillar to post, especially as young people. Therefore, I will not support this bill.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you very much, Chair, honorable members, and the House. My name is Aston Chauli. I'm from Nyagalongaland Ridge. We are a mining town.
I'm here to represent Makua, which is Mining Affected Communities United in Action. We are suffering under mining companies as we speak. The host communities in the mining areas are suffering. The suffering start with environmental degradation. We have mine dams, we have tailing dams that are affecting our communities, but then nothing is happening. Even though we have MPRDA, we have NEMA regulations, we have social labor plans, the mining companies fail to comply. They still fail to comply. So what I'm going to say is that we do not support this bill because we already have MPRDA and it's not working for us. We have seen this as mining towns that is not working. As the host communities, we have seen that the MPRDA is not working for us. But then now here we are again, drafting yet another bill. On top of that one, what is it that is going to be different about this bill that we haven't done with the MPRDA? Because if there is something that is going to be tangible that comes out of this bill, the very same thing you should have done with MPRDA. The black people who are living in mining communities are still suffering. They do not benefit economically and they are affected by the environment. But then here we are drafting other bills. When it comes to the issue of, let me talk about the issue of MPRDA, the DMRE is also failing. Department of Water Affairs is also failing to hold the mining companies accountable. So what do we want? What you should include in the MPRA other than drafting another bill? You should empower communities to have power to hold the mining companies accountable directly. Because this thing of going via DMRE, Department of Water Affairs, is not working for communities. So, and then when it comes to black companies that will benefit, I still don't have hope in it because we have BBEE. It is not working for black people. It's only grading black elites, which are politicians. Only politicians are benefiting. So this bill is not going to benefit us in any way. What we can do is to strengthen the bill that we have, and then so that we can accommodate black people in it, and then accommodate the host communities in the mining towns. Thank you very much.
Lebitso ke Aston Chaule. Ke batla ho hlakisa hore re le setjhaba se dulang ditikolohong tsena tse nang le merafo re a sotleha haholo empa hona le merafo e teng dibakeng tsa rona hobaneng ha o thuso ho hang e bang re a ifumana ka merafo ena. Jwale di-company tse ngata tsa merafo di bonahala di sa ikamahanye le melao e teng ya naha e laolang tsamaiso ya merafo hore ho se ha ameha tikoloho. Me ha o phetoho e bonahalang e ka re tla tliswa ke bili ena hobane le melao e meng e sentse le teng ha o phetoho e tlisitseng maphelong a setjhaba. Setjhaba ha se fole melemo ka yona merafo ena le melao ena e sentseng e le teng. Di-company tse ngata tse bang di a sebetsa di-industry tsena tsa merafo ha di nkise boikarabelo ka bohlaswa bo bongata bo di boetsang ditikolohong tseno di tloellwa fela me seo se thefula setjhaba haholo me le melemo ya merafo ena kapa ya di-company tsena ha e bonahale ntle le hore bao ba ka lehlakoreng la dipolotiki ke bona ba bonahalang ba fola molemo haholo ho feta setjhaba ka bosona mme ka mabaka ana ha ke tshetse ho hang bili ena.
Thank you. Next.
Nna ka lebitso ke dira Makitlane ke tsa Ward 36. Ke tshehetsa karohano ya molao ka hohle hohle ka tlasa mabaka a latelang. Ke dumela hore ke nnete act e teng ya 2002. Mme ke dumela hore committee e bone bohlokwa hore hona le di difficulties ho tsamaisa petroleum e kopane le di mineral. Mme ke hopola hantle hore bill e tlo re thusa re le Afrika Borwa hore re tsamaise petroleum ka tsela e nepahetseng. Hobane ha re ka sheba hantle di kompone tse sebetsanang le ntho ena ke di kompone tse tswang ka ntle ho naha. Ka hare ho naha ha rena di kompone tse ke few ya di kompone tse sebetsanang tse re ka rena le tsona. E nngwe ya dintlha e ke batlang ho dumellana le yona ke hore mmuso o nke taolo haholo ntlheng ena. Hobane ke nnete ha mmuso o sena taolo e le di kompone tsena tse hlahang ka ntle, bohloko ba re bang le bona ke hore nako le nako bona ha ba batla ho inkela diqeto tsa hore ba nyolla mafura mme re fumana le mathateng ka hara a dintho tse ngata. Hobane ha mafura a nyoloha ho nyoloha ntho e nngwe le nngwe. E nngwe ya dintlha ke batlang hore ke etse tshwaelo go yona, ke ne ke kopa hore committee e ke shebisise taba ya licensing hore ha e license e be mekgwa eo rona batho ba batsho especially batjha ba tla kgona ho e fumana. Ha ho ba le di-funding tse bang teng e be mekgwa eo e le hore e tla kgona hore e accommodate batho ba batsho eo batho ba batsho e tla kgona ba fumana. Ka bokgutshwane ke a leboha, ke support-a bili ka otloloha.
My name is Zira Matitilani from Ward 36. I support the separation of provisions of minerals and petroleum. I think the department noticed problems about the amalgamation of these provisions. I therefore appeal that the state should take control because foreign companies don't take care of our concerns. Licensing should be done in order to benefit youth and black people. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good afternoon, honorable members of parliament, colleagues, and fellow citizens. My name is Paul Lado. I am an attorney at the Center for Environmental Rights, and I am here today to make representations. We have submitted written comments to this portfolio committee on the 30th of March. We're very happy to submit them again. We have a set of comprehensive comments, but today I'll highlight our 4 main concerns. These pertain to climate change, the lack of economic development provisions in the bill, public participation, and the bill's conflict with the One Environmental System. I begin with climate change. It is common cause that the world is in the midst of a climate catastrophe. Globally, we are seeing adverse weather effects such as floods, droughts, famine, and the destruction of infrastructure. We are concerned by the lack of reference to or provisions pertaining to climate change and how the bill will help to mitigate the worst effects of climate change. Living in South Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, we will see the worst impacts of the climate emergency. We urge the bill to refer to and make measures to alleviate the harms caused by climate change. Furthermore, there will be economic effects associated with the acceleration of gas that the bill seeks to do. We are seeing a global climate where goods that are backed by or created by fossil fuels are taxed higher, as well as the services that are attached to these goods. We run the real risk of the gas industry in South Africa becoming a stranded asset, where it reaches the end of its economic lifetime and it's no longer economically feasible to pursue gas. Yet the country is locked into expensive gas infrastructure. My second point pertains to public participation. We are deeply concerned by the lack of public participation provisions within the bill. The bill calls for consultation between PASA, South Africa's Petroleum Agency, and IAPs. The bill also calls for consultation between the applicants for gas production and exploration rights and IAPs. However, there are very few instances in the bill where this consultation is called for. Specifically, the licensing rounds for reconnaissance permits, the licensing rounds for petroleum rights, and the applications for reconnaissance permits. There are numerous other authorization processes and applications mentioned in the bill that do not refer to any kind of consultation. As we all know, administrative justice is an important part of South Africa's constitution. It's provided for in Section 33 of the Constitution, and a core tenet of administrative justice is ensuring that people have the right to meaningfully participate and engage with stakeholders in instances where the decisions made by those stakeholders will impact them directly. We therefore call for a larger consultation framework within the provisions of the bill. We are also concerned by the lack of a definition of an IAP, an interested and affected party. From our experience in the mining industry, stakeholders often exclude certain persons from this category. Conventionally, mining companies, landowners, and traditional authorities are the only ones who are considered to be IAPs. Local community members are often removed from this definition and therefore removed from engaging with mining companies. We call for Parliament to ensure that the bill refers to a definition of interested and affected parties that includes certain categories. Now, we don't call for a closed list, but we ask that at the very least, individuals who have a claim to land, lawful occupiers of land, and other persons are included in the definition of interested and affected party. Furthermore, in terms of consultation, we urge Parliament to ensure that the notice methods by which individuals are informed about gas operations are in a platform that is accessible to and a language that can be understood by interested and affected parties. Currently, the bill refers to the Postal Office as well as the Government Gazette as platforms by which people can gain information about gas applications. We ask that other means, such as social media, and other accessible avenues are provided for in the bill to ensure that individuals that will be affected by these operations are made aware of them. My third point pertains to economic development. In terms of the mining industry, the MPRDA, the Mineral Resources and Petroleum Development Act, has a framework that pertains to social and labor plans, essentially a document that a mining company or a gas company would provide to parties to show what commitments this company makes and how they intend to fulfill these commitments. The bill is lacking of any reference to a social and labor plan, and we deeply lament that position. We ask that the bill refers to SLPs to ensure that the bill addresses the economic injustice that occurs in the extractives industry, whereby large multinational companies or even local companies move into a community, enforce their will to extract minerals from the community, but leave the local community destitute without any economic benefit. A social labor plan is not the answer to this injustice, but it will go a far way to address the injustice. Lastly, I point to the bill's conflict with the one environmental system, and this is one of our deepest concerns. The one environmental system pertains to a system whereby the NEMA, the National Environmental Management Act, is the sole environmental legislation, and the Minister of the Environment, Minister Creasy, is the lead minister with regards to authorizations. We note that the bill creates a new petroleum right, which combines production and exploration. Nowhere in the existing legislation do they refer to a petroleum right. We thus assert that this new bill will create a conflict in the OAS system that is deeply flawed, and that will lead to legal challenges should the bill be promoted, or promulgated rather, in its current form. We ask that the bill be sent back to the drafters and revised to ensure cohesion with the one environmental system. Also because the bill has provisions that enable the Minister of the DMRE, Minister Mantashe, to regulate environmental affairs, which again is contrary to the OES. Thank you for your time.
Lebitso la ka ke Paul Khado, ke leqwetha la mabapi le dintlha tse amanang le tikoloho. Ke na le dintlha tse mmalwa tse ke nang le mathata ka tsona. Ya pele ke ena ya climate change. Re a tseba kaofela hore lefatshe le tobane le maemo a mabe jwang a phetoho ya climate, jwalo ka dikgohola, ho mello, ho tjhesa ho hoholo, empa bili ena ha e bue letho ka ntlha tseo. Taba e nngwe hape ke ya hore ka lebaka leo re kotsing ya tikoloho ya rona e ntseng e senyeha letsatsi le letsatsi. Ntlha e nngwe hape ke ena ya dinonyo tsa maikutlo a setjhaba. Ke ngongoreiswa haholo ke ntlha ena haholo ka baka la ho fana ka di-license bakeng sa petroleum. Ha hona moo hlaloswang hore na ha re etsa dikopo tsa di-license re lokela ho etsa jwang. Ho boetse ha ho hlaloswe hantle mane ditlhalosong tsa mantswe hore na batho ba amehang ke bomang. Ho bua fela ka baetapele ba setso le di-company tsa merafo, empa ha hona moo buang teng ka batho ba tshwanang le nna le wena fela tjena. Ha hona moo buang ka rona ho ya ka bili eo. Mme ke sisinya hore ho sebediswe le di-platform tse ding tsa social media ho fana ka lesedi bathong. Ho se ke ha sebediswa fela o tla thola ho batho ba ye posong ba lo batla lesedi, empa mehleng ya jwale ra tseba hore social media e bapala karolo e kgolo haholo bakeng sa ho fana ka lesedi. Mme ke tsebisa komiti ena hore haeba bili ena e ka ya saenelwa ho ba molao, ka nnete rona re le ba sebetsanang le dintlha tsa tikoloho re tlo e lwantsha makgotleng a dinyewe hore e seke ya ba molao. Ka bokgutshwanyane ka mokgwa buileng ka teng.
Thank you. Next.
Good day, my name is Nophali Lindiwe from Ward 28 here in Botshabelo. Firstly, I would like to know, are there any investors who are going to invest in our South Africa? We know that South Africa is a resourceful country, but yet our resources are being taken to outside of South Africa so that we could buy, and that makes the inflation to go up. And exporting and importing is the major issue in South Africa. We cannot be having resources and take them out of our country and also come to buy them again. Is this bill corresponding with the South African Constitution, Chapter 2, Section 27, subsection 1A of healthcare services? Would be digging the oil and the gas, but not taking into consideration that healthcare services comes first, and making sure that everyone in their country or everyone in their community is safe regarding their health-wise. And the Public Finance Management Act clearly states that being it a fruitless expenditure is a major thing that is happening in South Africa. So not having investors in our South Africa would be resulting in a bad or the fruitless expenditure, because our money would be going out of our country, yet our country is not benefiting from what we are having. Free State is having the percentages of 31.1% of youth or people who are unemployed. Yet we say that Free State is under the onshore of oil and gas, but that 31.1% of unemployment is really not decreasing. I see it is going to increase in the near future because the skills development is not what we are given. And people with disabilities, as I'm one of the youth with disabilities, there is no way that everything could happen but not taking us into consideration. The resources are there to be reaping us positively, but I see that those who are in top are just thinking of themselves, not being able to come down to us and hear our claims. We have just been taken to school. Yes, we are educated, but we are not being given the opportunities we are not given the opportunities to go out and make sure that our skills are also benefiting our children in the future. We are just educated, we're having so much of the qualifications, but yet what South Africa is doing to us is really not good. Mining sector is polluting our country. So there has to be certain measures to be taken into consideration, that making sure that South Africa is not a polluted country. So if only this bill could make sure that our country is in a good position. And unemployment, I could not say it can just go up to 100%, no, but step by step, making sure that the rate of unemployment is decreasing. There are a lot of people who are educated, there are a lot of people who have skills, but thinking that the top dogs are just going out there to say, no, we are taking these ones, not making sure that they are empowering our youth. But yet, when it comes to voting, they will just say, no, come and vote for us and do this, we'll give you this in return. But that is not good. So if only this bill could correspond with the Constitution of South Africa, would make sure that everything is coming out in a positive way for our country, for our youth, persons with disabilities, and everyone who's not employed, and for everyone who's having skills to empower our country. Thank you.
Dumelang, leina la ka ke Nophali, ke tswa ko Ward 28. Re bua ka bilie, ekete e sekametse mo babeeletsing. Me I kgatholosa rona re le baagi ba naga. Chapter 2 ya molaotheo wa naga e bua ka tsa pholo. Gore fa re ntse re tsweletse pele re fitlhela didiriswa tsa petroleum, ga di ne di tsenya matshelo a rona mo kotsing. Ntlha engwe gape re tlhokometseng ke gore fa re bua ka PMFA e buang ka matlole a setšhaba, ga ene e nna ditshenyegelo tse di senang mosola. Re le ba Freistata jaaka re buile gore re wela mo lefelong le la onshore e leng gore ke mo magareng ga naga. Go na le kgwetlho e tona ya gore bašwa ga bana ditiro. Re rutegile, mme le fa re rutegile go na le mo e leng gore re santse re tlhaela ka bokgoni bo e leng gore bo tshwanetse gore bo tlhabololwe. Rona re le bašwa le batho ba re tshelang ka bogole, mme ebile ke bua ka nna ka sebele gore le nna ke tshela ka kgwetlho eo ya go tshela ka bogole. Mme fa re le ba sentle re tlhoma ka leitlho le le ntšotšo, re lemoga gore bale ba ba leng ko maemong ke bona ba e leng gore ba boelwa. Rona bašwa re iphitlhela fela re tshela mo e leng gore loapi la rona le kgotlhelegile, mme pholo ya rona le yona e mo mathateng. Re le fa re rutegile re kopa gore leke gore matlafatsa. Le ska la re gopola fela ka nako ele ya ditlhopho, mme le re thuse le gore le re thuse go ka re matlafatsa go tlhabolla matshelo a rona. Ke a leboga.
Thank you. Next.
ke nna Puleng Tlokwe ho tla Ward 40 ko Thabanchu. Di bui tse kgabaneng ke utlwile le buile le moifo wa parlamente. Ke ema ke le bohloko, ke ema ke le maswabi. Thabanchu yo ke lesupi. Re jelletse re ntse re shebile ha kolwa bo di Santa, ha kolwa bo Thabanchu College, ha kolwa na Lady Sane, ha kolwa Thabanchu San, Eureka. Kana Thabanchu ene ile drop ene ina le ntho eo. So ke tlo kopa ho parlamente re lokisetseng. Thabanchu ke lesupi bathong. Bana ba Thabanchu ba rutile ha ba sebetse ba dutse fela. Di feme tsa kwalwa ha rena nix ka ra Thabanchu complex tshebile go sena nix e re ka ra etsang ha ke ya ho wena o tla bo o ya kwana o lo bolela motho wa go Puleng are ene batho ba bangata ba tshaba hore man hankare ke Puleng ke tlo itwa jena nna ke brave ke kopa le ba bolela go Puleng Tlokwe are tjena le tjena parlament ha e Thabanchu ene la ka la fika ka ga lefase la Thabanchu le mpatle le re batla Puleng Tlokwe ha yona ke sebete gore ke bua go tswa botibong ba pelo ya ke tlo letsa mohlala o mkananyana 5 ke la ka thungwa ke lo nna mkgatlo ona o sa nketsetseng letho hona jole ka re ke sohole bana ba ka batla ba mpotsa ba re ke eng ANC o etsetsang yona because ha ona nix ntho ANC o etsetsang yona Puleng o cripple ona jole ka go hlile o le sohole parlamente ke a le Roma tsamayang yang ho ba lo okametseng le ba bolelle hore ba ke ba ka ga lefase la Thabanchu re na le di mineral ka ga lefase la Thabanchu ha le fihla le lona le parlament le lo rutwa ka tlase be le tla le ba bang be re sa ba tsebeng wa ke kopa ha re tshepaneng ke a le kopa a som beef ke a le kopa ka Kriste morena ke a lebo.
The name is Puleng Tlokwe. From Thabanchu. It's very painful when you look at the current situation in Thabanchu. What is left in Thabanchu after so many businesses and institutions were closed and some factories, now Thabanchu is left as ruins. I invite you as Parliament to one day come to Thabanchu just to assess the situation and the terrible conditions that we live under in Thabanchu. Now it's only the government that goes to Thabanchu to open certain offices. Even when they come to open those offices, they don't employ us. They come already with their employees, and many people are still unemployed, to a situation where we look back and remember those days when we were under the rule of the late Ntate Lucas Mangope. Things were much better. There was no poverty. Most people were employed. Today it's very painful because it's only the ruins that we see all around. And we are now like fools to our children because of the ANC that is really doing disservice to the community of Thabanchu. There are also some minerals that are available in Thabanchu, but currently they are not useful to us as the community. We also appeal that on the day when those minerals maybe are being mined, we must be taken into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Ka dumedisa ke dumedise setjhaba se monana kaofela ketapele teng monana kaofela re le wela ho tla rona re le se ho tla setjhabeng ka mantswe a tlo go dumellana le rona ka tsohle tse etsetseng tse mobile monana
nna ke na le tumello ya gore ke a dumela gore taba eo ya di-mineral and le energy di be separate. Tumelo ya ka ke eno gore e be tšhentšhe cause hangata taba e etsalang nou tjenana re le setšhaba sa South Africa re na le bothata ba mollo ko dula le timatima so ke nagana gore ha nka ba batho ya ba le taba ya energy e fokatseng tabeng tse tsa energy le yona fela le taba tsa bo Eskom. I think e tla kgona gore e imulle Eskom bima le moruo wa nama a gola o tla kgona go phahame haholo Free State re na le batho ba bangata ba ile gore ga ba sebetse ba hula ka thata so tumelo ko re a gola tla kgona re thuse ntho tse ngata cause batho ha ba le motho a focus ntho tse tsa mineral le yona le fela mmuso wa rona le ona o be le taba yo o shebane le tsona haholo ka di-state agency re be le batho ba ile gore ba shebana le nthonyana tseo tse jwalo tsa bobodu tsa bo ditšhelete tse etsalang tse jwalo o dule go ngwala nthong tse gore moruo wa rona mo Free State mo o phahame haholo. Ke a leboga.
My chief.
Bitso la ka ke Nkosinathi Gwalentai ke tswa Ward 38.
My name is Nkosinathi Gwalentai. I support the separation of provision of minerals and the provision of petroleum because we have a problem of load shedding, as you are aware. Maybe the separation will assist in helping Eskom to reduce load shedding. As well, we think that this will bring the much needed jobs, especially to the youth and women in our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bloemfontein. We appreciate the submissions you made.
Ra le leboha Bloemfontein, re lebohela ditshisinyo tseo le faneng ka tsona.
Let me deal with that incident that happened now.
Re ke bue ka ketsahalo yane e bohlokonyana e qetang ho etsahala jwale.
The report that I'm getting from the staff is that indeed we are to be blamed in terms of communication with Makua.
Tlaleho eo ke e fumanang ke hore ka nnete re molato ka maemo ano a transport.
And in that regard, I will not say someone in the administration made that mistake. We will take responsibility for that. That's what leaders do.
Nkekebe ka supa motho ka monwana hore mamang ke ena ya sa etsang mosebetsi rona re le committee re tlanka boikarabelo ba ho hloleha hono ha o lokisa tsa batho transport.
And on behalf of the chairperson of this portfolio committee, I would like to render an apology to Makua and those that are affected by the situation that happened.
Libitsong la modulasetulo ke batla ho kopa tshwarelo libitsong la Makua le bohle ba amehang.
We will deal with it internally to avoid future occurrence.
Re tla sebetsana le yona taba eno hore e se hlole e etsahala.
Now, I have no intention to close anyone out.
Ha ke ikemisetsa hore ke siye motho ofe kapa ofe ka ntle.
There may be people who listened to the submissions and now they are itching to make a submission as well.
Mohlomong hona le batho ba neng ba mametse ha ba bang ba ntse ba bua mme jwale ba ikutlwa ba na le matla a hore ba ka bua le bona.
I will open for the last round, which will take only 5 people.
Ke tla bulela batho ba bahlano fela ba ho qetela.
Unless people are satisfied with the submissions they made, I will open for only 5.
Ntle le haeba batho ba kgotsofetse ka nnete ha ba sa batla ho bua empa
One.
haeba ho se jwalo ke tla bulela ba bahlano fela.
1, 2, 3. I only see 3 hands. Can we make it quick?
Ke bone ba bararo fela ha ba bue ka pelenyana.
This round will have limited time. I will stop you when you take longer.
Mokgahlelo ona batho ba tla ballwa nako e itseng ha o bua nako e telele re tla o stop.
Thank you. Number 1.
Sanbonan, let me greet the House and everybody that's present here. Mine is pretty short. I think, as with many bills that come through Parliament, there's always a weakness, and I think this weakness is very worrying, that we frequently think about policy making. Oh, I'm Tamin Kosi, by the way, from the Center for Environmental Rights. As I was saying, I think part of the policy processes in this country have always assumed that we live in an androcentric society where knowledge systems are men-centered, right? I'm very worried about how the gender framework, or at least lack of gender analysis, is actually put into the bill. I think when you think about environmental devastation and the effect it has, it's totally different when you speak about women. And I'd like the bill to actually address that matter, because if you're thinking about the burden of care in any society, it falls on women, whether it's fetching water, whether it's food security and other things, which mining devastates in most cases. We need to be specific about how we're going to address that. And that in itself needs us to think about the nuanced understanding of how gender is impacted by any form of exploration, any form of mining. So I think for me, that's the one weakness that I'm noticing in the bill. And perhaps for the Portfolio Committee to start thinking about that, to say we can't, in 2023, always think about bills and acts that are not going to be gender conscious, or at least would work at the level of gender intersectionality with whatever the issue that we want to raise. Thanks.
Can I plead that the noise levels be a bit down so that we respect other people who are making submissions?
Re kopa re be teng kgutso ho etsetsa hore le batho ba bang ba ntse ba hlahisa maikutlo ba kgone ho utlwahala. Ntate ya tlohang kwano ke Ntate Thami Nkosi. Ntate Thami Nkosi hore billing ena ho na le bofokodinyana bo teng ka hore ha e bue hakalo ka taba e amanang le bong ba batho kapa ha e nkele hloohong hakalo. O hlokomela hore ho na le kgaello e kgolo e fuwang batho ba bomme kapa basadi, jwale e seka basadi jwalo ka ha e le bona bao e leng mekokotlo kapa ditshia tse tsheditseng malapeng hore eke ba ka ekeletsa menyetla e mengatanyana mme e kenyeletswe billing ena.
Thank you very much. Next.
Nna ka lebitso ke Oupa Malele, ke hlaha Komo Thabo. Baetapele ba rona ke fila hore le re phoqile ka tsela ya hore le tshwana le badimo ba rona ba jang papa, le tseba se re se hlokang le pele re se kopa ho lona. The land belongs to the people. The Freedom Charter says the people shall share the wealth of the country, including the mineral of the country. Rona re le batho, rona re le setjhaba mo.
The reason why it is off is because you are supposed to address the committee.
Okay. Ntshwarele ke tla ba addressa ke ba furalletse. Rona re le setjhaba ke fumana e ka re thusa mashodu hore ja ka style se seng se setjha. These minerals, if the land belong to the people, then this mineral belong to us, belong to the people. Now, problem ega e ba tjenana le tjintjha di bili hore le kgone ho tla ka style se setjha sa ho reja ha bobebe jwale. Hobaneng le hlokometse hore re aware. You are like America. After America e be aware hore Africa is now becoming aware hore America is dangerous to Africa. Baba be a president a motho wa motho, which is Obama. If this land belong to the people, and then the minerals get a role. Ne? Motho wa tla ka ha wa fitla mo, o fitla a o kopa go o jala serapa sa di cabbage ka jareteng ya hao. Ha ka ba jala serapa sa di cabbage, o hira wena o sebetse o jala di cabbage tse. ha ka tlo di rekisa ha ka tlo di rekisa o tlo pata ka tšhelete kebi tsa hao ka jareteng ya hao suggestion e re nang le yona ke ya hore all companies tse minang all minerals in South Africa, those minerals belong to the people, belong to the South Africans. We need national